Velasco 522 Trayburn Drive. Let me also start by saying thank you to the board as well as all the school faculty and staff that are here tonight for all the work that you do to make our children successful. The first thing I have to say, I have a feeling, based on what's been said tonight, will be an opinion not often voiced here tonight, if at all. I actually loved standardized testing. I've loved it since I was a student in this county. If the same policy regarding the standardized testing being a large portion of the student's final grade had been in place when I was in school, I would have been the happiest kid in 4 counties. But now, with hindsight, some world experience, and maybe even a little bit of wisdom, I can see that if standardized testing had been a large portion of my final grade, it would have done me a tremendous disservice. To maintain my grades, I had to learn skills and traits that would not only help me achieve good grades or score well on a test, but also be a productive member of my community. It's because of those skills and traits, not the fact that I scored in the 98th percentile in my TCAPs, that I'm able to stand in front of you tonight with a college degree, a family, a career, basically all of the things that we all wish for our children. Unfortunately, as I stand here tonight, we have become so hyper-focused on these tests and have placed such an undue importance on them that the system has become fundamentally broken, to the point that the rights of parents to direct the education of their children are being circumvented and the decision-making is being put in the hands of minor children. 90 years ago, the Supreme Court held in their decision in Pierce versus the Society of Sisters that, quote, the liberty of parents to direct the upbringing, education, and care of their children is a fundamental right. Just so we're clear, a fundamental right is a right that has been recognized by the Supreme Court as requiring a high degree of protection from government encroachment. Now, I'm a smart guy. I have to be. I scored in the 98th percentile of the tests that everyone holds so dear. But I cannot understand how the current position of, and I quote, we are required to give all students an opportunity to take the test, but if students choose not to take the test, that scenario extends beyond our control, is not a clear and willful violation of a Supreme Court decision that has been in effect for 90 years. To further clarify, let me ask you a few questions. Is my son allowed to sign his own IEP at the end of each meeting? Is my son allowed to sign the enrollment forms necessary for him to become a student in Knox County schools? Is my son allowed to sign a permission form for any of the field trips that he will take as a student in Knox County schools? I'll save us all some time. The answer to each of these questions is no. A child cannot make any of these decisions, lest we forget the very special episode of everyone's favorite family sitcom when the precocious student forges their parent's signature to do something at school the parents don't approve of. Hijinks ensue, and a very valuable lesson about parents making decisions that are best for their children is learned. My point is this: in that particular situation, even Hollywood, in its infinite wisdom, does a better job of recognizing the rights of parents than we are currently doing here. In fact, the district has such tunnel vision when it comes to participation in the standardized test that it has either ignored or neglected state-mandated policies already in place that allow non-participation decision by the parents of a child with either an IEP or a 504 plan. Though I'm not here to retell our story that you just heard from my wife, our story is a dangerous example of the current culture of the testing environment. That culture blatantly, if not willfully, ignored not one, but 2 different parental right decisions, one at each the state and federal level. So what do we do now? The answer is simple. We act. Knox County Schools has had a long history of being an innovator in education, as well as a long history of having some of the top schools in the state and even the nation. With the state, KCS has gravitas. I call on the board today to use that, to be bold, be the first district to put a policy in place to specifically spell out parental rights as it relates not just to standardized testing, but all facets of our children's education. Be a leader. Be proactive. Be the things that you tell our children to be when they're in your schools. Not only will you be on the correct side of the law, but you'll be doing the right thing. To quote Jack Welch, change before you have to. Wouldn't you rather be on the front end of positive change than the back end? You have wonderful resources at your disposal that will help and stand by you as you effect positive change. That is us, the parents of the children you are charged with educating, and their dedicated and tireless teachers. I know it is a daunting proposition and it may be hard, but the hard is what makes it good.
Your time is up, sir.
I will leave you with this thought as a call to action and to do what is hard. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful and committed citizens can change the world, because it's the only thing that ever has.